This video will show you why join EuroCham Cambodia.
What is EuroCham? EuroCham is the European Chamber of Commerce and the leading foreign business association in Cambodia.
EuroCham's core activities are promoting, supporting, and representing its members
and sustainable business interests in Cambodia.
Since 2011, EuroCham has grown to over 300 members and 6 national chapters.
Joining EuroCham can help you to grow your business in the kingdom.
Who can join? EuroCham is open to everybody. Locals and foreigners, companies, small and large, and individuals are all eligible to become EuroCham members.
We are looking for new startups or small and medium-sized enterprises that are looking to grow.
Why join EuroCham? EuroCham provides unique opportunities and events that help you network with like-minded people and organizations.
Becoming a EuroCham member will help build the visibility of your business both here in Cambodia as well as regionally and internationally.
By joining us, you are giving yourself a bigger, louder voice, a voice that can be heard further away than ever before.
EuroCham membership helps you to grow your network,
have a voice in shaping policies,
take advantage of training,
increase your company's visibility,
build the right team.
EuroCham represents opportunity.
Opportunity to build, to grow, to expand, and develop.
Visit our website today and become a EuroCham member. This video will show you why join EuroCham Cambodia.
What is EuroCham? EuroCham is the European Chamber of Commerce and the leading foreign business association in Cambodia.
EuroCham's core activities are promoting, supporting, and representing its members
and sustainable business interests in Cambodia.
Since 2011, EuroCham has grown to over 300 members and 6 national chapters.
Joining EuroCham can help you to grow your business in the kingdom.
Who can join? EuroCham is open to everybody. Locals and foreigners, companies, small and large, and individuals are all eligible to become EuroCham members.
We are looking for new startups or small and medium-sized enterprises that are looking to grow.
Why join EuroCham? EuroCham provides unique opportunities and events that help you network with like-minded people and organizations.
Becoming a EuroCham member will help build the visibility of your business both here in Cambodia as well as regionally and internationally.
By joining us, you are giving yourself a bigger, louder voice, a voice that can be heard further away than ever before.
EuroCham membership helps you to grow your network,
have a voice in shaping policies,
take advantage of training,
increase your company's visibility,
build the right team.
EuroCham represents opportunity.
Opportunity to build, to grow, to expand, and develop.
Visit our website today and become a EuroCham member.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, guest speakers, members, partners at EuroCham. Thank you for spending your time this afternoon to join our webinars today. EuroCham and CEE Comp, the road to energy and efficiency. So my name is Kaiket Watana. I'm the events and membership managers at EuroCham. So as usual, I will be your host for today's webinars. So as you know, energy efficiency is the heart of clean energy transitions. And with a strong energy efficiency, it provides a lot of benefits, including reducing energy bill, lowering the level of global warming, climate change, and also enhancing the energy access. So I would like to also continue further that these webinars and the activity of EuroCham is brought to you and thanks by our platinum partners and gold partner for their support throughout the year. And within today's agenda item, after this, I will pass on the floor to Mathilde, who will give her introductions to the competition and also give more insight on energy saving tips. And afterward, we'll have Dr. Susanne BODACH, who will be the moderators of the panel discussion, who we are joined by 3 experts from Cambodia and France, who will be sharing their stories about energy saving. And we also gonna leave a chance for all our participants to raise your questions to our panelists. Quick tips also that from this beginning, you can already start to drop your questions if you have in the Q&A box below. And if you have any comments or feedback, feel free to leave in the chat function below. So without any further delay, I would like to introduce Ms. Mathilde. She's the project officer at the CEE Comp projects, and also she's a consultant at CEE. So Mathilde, I'll give you the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kefradanak. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I will introduce you the energy context in Cambodia and what is energy efficiency. And then I will introduce the CEE Comp. So over the last 15 years, electricity consumption in Cambodia has increased tenfold from 1,200 gigawatt hour to 12,500 gigawatt hour. This boom in consumption is explained by several factors: the growth of the population and the increase in its standard of living, a better access to electricity through the country, an increase of the rate of household equipment, and the development of industrial activities and services. This electricity is largely carbon-based, meaning that is produced from fossil fuels. 1/3 of the electricity produced in Cambodia comes from coal-fired power plants based in Cambodia or in the neighboring countries we import from. The production of coal is one that emits the most CO2, far ahead of oil and gas. The increase in electricity consumption in Cambodia mainly concerns the building sector and in particular commercial buildings. The Ministry of Mine and Energy has recorded an average increase of 19% in energy consumption in commercial buildings per year between 2010 and 2018, compared to, let's say, an increase of only 7% in the transport sector, 5% in industry, and 3% in residential sector. The consequences are obviously climatic, and the increase in production and consumption of electricity will contribute to the increase in greenhouse gas emissions in Cambodia, with projections up to plus 2.6 degrees by 2050. As a reminder, the IPCC experts who have just released their sixth report on climate change remind us of the need to contain CO2 emissions below 1.5 degrees. There are also much more localized effects, such as the instability of the electricity network and the electricity grid, and the multiplication of power cuts. Next slide, please. The Cambodian government committed in late 2020 to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 27% by 2030 in its nationally determined contribution. NDCs are at the heart of the Paris Agreement and the achievement of these long-term goals. They embody each country's effort to reduce its national emissions and adapt to the effects of climate change. To achieve these goals, the Ministry of Mine and Energy, with the support of the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia, the area, completed the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Master Plan in 2020 and aims to reduce energy consumption in buildings and industry by 25% by 2035. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So there are different ways to regulate the increase in energy consumption. It's necessary to act on the production of electricity itself by developing clean and renewable energy produced locally as close as possible to the final consumers. The greatest challenge is to switch from fossil fuels to renewable energy and not just add new sources of production. This is called decarbonization of the energy mix. If decarbonization of the energy mix is one of the necessary solutions for Cambodia's energy transition, it is a long-term public policy issue. So on the other hand, it is a priority to regulate energy demand and all energy-intensive sectors, and for this we have solutions at hand. First is buildings and their equipment. By designing buildings and producing equipment that consume as little energy as possible, then having a better knowledge and a better management of the energy we use, thanks to the automation of the systems, the programming and the measurement of our consumption. And finally, we take action on the behavior of all users, whether they are households or employees in companies. Individuals, through their energy behavior, have a major role to play. So all these approaches constitute energy efficiency, which is the effort made to reduce the energy consumption of a system for the same service provided. Next slide, please. So what is CEE Comp? To trigger two of these drivers, we have decided to create the Cambodia Energy Efficiency Competition, or CEE Comp, whose first edition will start in September. It's a 10-month competition until June 2022 that challenges commercial buildings on their energy savings. It was created by CEVEA and the Institute of Technology of Cambodia, the ITC, with the support of the Cambodia Climate Change Alliance. Operation and management of energy systems and behavior change are the easiest and the quickest ways to save energy. No major renovation or retrofit is required. CEE Comp proposed to mobilize only the existing resources in the building. So the principle of an energy saving competition has already shown remarkable results in other countries, including France, where the CUBE competition, led by the French Institute for Building Performance, has already conducted 5 editions of the competition. On average, as you can see, the candidates have saved more than 17% of energy saving in their building. But I will let Cedric talk about the result of the competition later. If the competition rewards the energy savings achieved during these 10 months, the set of measures put in place are intended to last over the competition and core habits that will last. Next slide, please. So what kind of service CEE Comp provide? To calculate your energy savings, we provide you with a candidate space where you can follow all your energy savings month by month, as well as your overall ranking. To do so, you have to fill in your energy consumption of the last years, and you have to provide some information about your buildings. For example, number of employees, size of the building, type of activities, and so on. And from this information, we develop a reference energy situation of your building through the International Performance and Measurement Verification Protocol, the IPMVP, which allows the integration of factors such as the weather conditions and which is verified by our engineers. So you keep sending us your monthly energy consumption during the competition, and we calculate your energy savings. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 and with the generalization of remote working, we have taken into account the effects of the situation on your energy consumption, in particular through the occupancy rate of your offices. So if your activities has decreased for several months, we are able to adapt our model accordingly. Next slide, please. So during the competition, we do not leave the candidates alone. The objective is to support them so that they understand the challenges of changing their behavior in order to save energy. As the competition is based on the internal resources of the organization, we also support the candidates in the internal organization. For instance, nomination of a project leader, creation of a green team, types of action to be prioritized, and so on. We also provide tools that identify the best saving measures to be implemented and other communication material to raise awareness among occupants. And we also organize training workshops on energy efficiency and meetings between candidates to share their experiences and inspire from each other. Next slide, please. Projects such as CEE Comp can be considered as secondary at the moment, since some employees remain in home office, and then the occupancy rate of the office spaces is now very fluctuating. Some organizations have found that their electricity bill have not necessarily decreased despite a much lower than normal occupancy rate. Implementing energy efficiency and conservation measures in this context will save you money, of course, on your electricity bill, which is a significant cost and exceeds some $100,000 per year in the largest building in Phnom Penh. It's also an opportunity to review the new internal operation of your organization in terms of occupancy and use. You will learn how to optimize your energy systems, which are currently adjusted accordingly to the previous uses. Concerning the occupants, the current context can be doubly beneficial. A break in the occupants' habits is a great opportunity to implement new energy savings habits. Changing routines is difficult, we know that. And the least that we can say is that COVID-19 has shaken up our work habits. So incremental changes will be that much easier to implement. And finally, employees who have been forced to work from home have experienced an unexpected increase in their personal electricity bills. So raising awareness about a topic like energy efficiency, which may seem quite technical, can become easier when users can relate to their personal experience. It's therefore very interesting to show the link between energy consumption at home and energy consumption at work. The measurements are globally the same, and it's easy to transfer them from the workplace to the home. Next slide, please. Thank you. So what are the tips to be energy efficient at work? Before giving you any advice, it's important to know that for a given objective in terms of energy, there are many means and actions to implement. Not all buildings are alike. You do not have the same number of air conditioning units per room and per person, the same needs, the same internal resources, the same internal organization, and the same dynamics within your teams. That's why CEE Comp provides you tools, technical support, and assistance in managing your competition, but it can't replace the building's occupant. This is why the first advice we can give is to make an inventory of your building, your resources, and your needs. The first measures are then often obvious. So, for example, you can start by classifying the room by typologies, offices, kitchen, open spaces, then counting the electricity devices, AC, lightings, and stuff. And then you can also investigate directly with the occupants of each space. Then, second, communicate. It's very essential to report on the actions implemented in your building to make the efforts visible, to raise awareness, and to encourage all occupants to act at their own level. Many energy savings measures are implemented by the technical or maintenance teams and are not communicated directly to the occupants. So bridge the gap between the different departments and make the action collective. And finally, don't try to do everything at once. You will quickly realize that many actions can be implemented, but it's better to start with the simplest measures that will make you save energy quickly and that will encourage you to carry on with your efforts in the long term. Taking those 3 points, an example of effective measures could be to identify all the lights point on one floor of your building during the day when the vast majority of occupants are present, for example, and to identify the unnecessary sources. Don't do all the floors at once if it's too time-consuming for your staff. You can then decide to work together and remove some lights and inform your teams by giving them the number of kilowatt-hour saved thanks to this measure. And you can also decide to survey your teams on their visual comfort and compare the results with your own inventory. Yes. Next slide. So thank you very much for your attention. The competition starts in September, so you can still register, and don't hesitate to contact CEE Comp by this email address if you are interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mathilde. Thank you for your presentation. So without delay, we will move on to the presentation and also panel discussion along with the Q&A session, where, like I mentioned in the beginning, Dr. Susanne BODACH will be the moderator of the session. She is currently the chairwoman of EuroCham Business Committee, and she's also the managing director at the Incorporations. On the panel, there will be Raphael, Cedric, and John, who will join Susanne to participate in the next panel. Okay, thank you, Susanne. The floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Ratanak. Thanks a lot, Mathilde. Very interesting insights we have learned about the energy efficiency competition. We will start now the panel discussion. Please, next slide. And I would like to ask our speakers, first Mr. Raphael, to present some results from the case study in Cambodia. Next slide. Mr. Raphael is a technical advisor at a technical manager at ATS Cambodia, a Cambodian company, leading company in energy management and power distribution, who was elected as an ambassador of CEE Comp, and that has some reason because they have already done an internal competition, and I'm very eager to learn. Now we can learn all together what are the success stories and how much they could save. Please, over to you, Raphael.
Thank you, Susanne. Hello, everyone. Maybe you can move to the slide. I will start. Thank you. I would like to show you today that energy efficiency is accessible today to everyone, and that significant energy saving can be easily achieved by simple gestures. In 2018, ATS were committed to did all the necessary efforts to reduce our energy consumption. We defined 3 ways: by using new technologies available in the market, or by improving the control of our equipment, or by implementing energy awareness campaign to encourage our employees to pay more attention about energy usage. To achieve our common goal, which is reduce our energy consumption, we decided to launch in 2019 an internal competition called Start Acting Green Contest, which is a pure internally for ATS. I will show you now a video how this competition happened. Okay, you can start the video, please. It was a 1-year competition. The objective was to reduce by 20% our energy consumption. We have created different groups that will challenge each other during the competition. Every month, we have selected the greener group. The green group was selected after different criteria: the economy achieved, the motivation and commitment, and the result of a monthly quiz. The settings created thanks to our energy management system installed in 2017 and accessible to all our employees. We publish the energy report every month, the results of the quizzes, as well as some tips to support each group to reduce their energy consumption. In order to maintain a strong and sustainable motivation throughout all the competition, each winner will receive a prize. You can move the next slide, thank you. So here is 2 examples in our building. It's a conventional building. Here are some inexpensive solutions that we install in our office as a twilight sensor to adjust and turn off our lighting according to the outdoor brightness, timer switch to control some of our equipment, LED lighting retrofitting, temperature sensor to monitor the performance of our air conditioners, motion sensors, door closers, very useful, and also behavior training. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, thank you very much. The key of a sustainable energy efficiency project is the implementation of an energy management cycle. It's by 4 steps. First step is to plan. You have to decide what you can do to reduce your energy consumption. And then, after you have to implement the ideas that you got during the plan stage, then you can check, verify that you received the expected results from your actions during the do stage. It is at this stage that you will collect the information used to complete the cycle with the 4th stage called act, or we can call it adjust. Act, now you have all the information in hand. This final stage aims to take decisions to improve the system. But it is not the end of the job. You see, it is a cycle. If the results collected during the check stage are satisfying, you can restart the cycle by planning new action. But if the results are not satisfying, you must repeat this cycle with appropriate and corrective actions. You can go to the next slide. Thanks to all our actions, we have reduced our energy usage intensity, which is simply our electrical consumption per square meter, by 30% compared to 2017 and 2020. With the data collected, we have found that it was possible to save up to 80% of our consumption related to the lighting, 50% related to our energy, to our air conditioners, and 10% on our power sockets. We expect to do more. That's why we are really glad to be able to participate to the CEE competition, the first edition, so that we can continue to reduce our energy consumption and continue also to educate our employees. We all hope to be able to support the other participants with our experience to ensure that this innovative competition will be a real success for all of us. Thank you very much. I finish. I will now give the floor to Mr. Cedric BOREL.
Thanks a lot, Raphael. Very interesting insights and hear from the ground from Cambodia. Now we have Mr. Cedric BOREL and Mr. John Dreamer from France joining our panel. Next slide. They are both from the French Institute of Energy Performance in Buildings and the Action for Market Transformation. This institute is supporting the EE competition in Cambodia. Mr. Cedric has a long-standing experience in developing such kind of competitions. As I remember, it was in France, what called Cube, and he will give us more insights how it works and how it will be done here in Cambodia. Mr. John is consultant with professional experience and background in energy efficiency and low carbon transition and behavioral change. Yeah, this will be also very interesting for us to find out this topic of behavior change. How can this be also transferred to Cambodia? And we would like to learn also from you, as you have experience from France and also internationally, as I understood, how such competition can motivate people to save energy. Over to you, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Susanne. Yes, I guess we are speaking of a very universal subject. The universal subject is energy efficiency. Everybody do understand well renewables and new energy, but energy efficiency is hard to understand well because it's about delivering the necessary energy for your activity, for your business, and not more than the just necessary energy you need with equal quality of service. So in energy efficiency, there is two main segments of energy efficiency. You can invest, of course, into more efficient facilities, but not everybody can invest right now. So the first step, and I guess this is universal, and we'll prove you it's universal. The first step of energy efficiency is about using your facility more efficiently with all the tricks and all what have been Raphael developing and Mathilde developing. If you do so, you're more clever about your facility. You can think of investment next, but first maybe you do have 20 to 25% or more available with just energy efficiency. It's amazing, and it has proven a very successful measure in every country we will speak of. Why a contest? This is your question is quite good. We can do that coldly as planification, etc. But you know, in the day-to-day life, this contest have been triggered 8 years ago because in your day-to-day life, people are not working in energy efficiency. They are doing their business, their commercial business, and running for their business, and they don't think that energy efficiency maybe it's not taking a big part of any organization. So to go for energy efficiency in a one special year of action, the contest have been always a very good way to go, and to make it fun, because energy efficiency, it's not very fun if you do it alone. So if we do it together, we can share practices, and we can have this sharing and competing effect Raphael has been speaking about, with amazing results, because you will fine-tune between the technical guys and between the users. You can fine-tune the use of your building, and it's very interesting. So the contest is growing. I will let John speak of all the news we can share with you, and I guess that the chasing energy efficiency measure with simple things may be the first step for everybody. John, some news about the Cube.
So yes, we have. So the Cube started in France, and we're really starting to grow inwards in different disciplines, whether it's car efficiency now, or in schools, or in big buildings, but it's also expanding outwards towards Europe and the UK and Asia, obviously Cambodia, and just we feel that this is just a sign that people are more and more waking up to the fact that today it's possible to do either the same with less energy, or to do even more with the same amount of energy. And this is really a powerful statement to have in mind. And here in Cube, we think it's actually possible to do even better, because through the competition and through the process and the dynamic that the Cube creates, we have a new dynamic that are created in the companies, and that push towards more efficient usage of the energy, but also the organization as a whole. And that's really a motor for global change and global performance across the organizations.
Yes. So on the next slide, we can see some facilities which have been through the competition, and they are around the globe, and maybe in some hot and tropical spaces or countries. So there's some samples you can see of buildings having competed into the Cube, and because big companies, it's also for owners or large companies, gives a way to go bottom up. You got at a big company, you get top-down plans. You go for ISO 50001. You can certificate your buildings. You can do there's a lot you can do top-down, of course, and investment will go along with certification or big plan rolled on the company to go for energy efficiency. But if you don't trigger something bottom up, really on the ground, you may lack this fine-tuning, this easy 20%, etc. So okay, it's only a contest, but it gives very good results, and you see buildings right around the globe in your latitude, which have competed and scored into the last Cube, which is growing European and abroad.
What's really important to grasp here is that since it's a competition where we really we have users and exploitants around the same table discussing those topics, it's really a field-based approach. So it doesn't really matter what are your field realities, what are the weather, etc., because it's really the users, it's the people inside the building that are taking the decisions and thinking about how to improve. And so it's really adapted to each and every individual and reality, each country, each building. And that's really one of the really strong backbones of the competition, and why it's also so effective.
Okay, and I can see, Susanne, I can see the one question in the chat. The Morocco, for example, have been achieved with a small capex, but all the other one I know perfectly have been achieved with OPEX spendings, not more than the usual maintenance budgets, sometimes some special investment on some regulation, but very low cost investment and very high return on investment for these actions. Mainly, it's about getting in the contest with your building as it is running now and with the full occupancy. There is something with the full occupancy and not getting in the contest because you are planning investment. This will come afterwards. It's going to when it does have to come into the planning of the buildings.
Thank you so much, Cedric, for picking up this question. Yeah, we understood now that we can achieve energy savings on the one side with investments, yeah, like Raphael also mentioned, and on the other side, only pure competition with kind of behavior change, what we say, right? And you you showed some numbers from the buildings around the world that have participated in your contest. I understand it's around 10 to 20% that can be only achieved by this kind of low cost or even only behavior change. Is this right? Yeah,
it is.
Yes, so it would be nice to hear.
As a joke, I can say that if you are really badly managing your buildings, you could go over 40%. It's good for you, it's good for the planet, but it means that you were very bad in managing your building before.
I understand. Great. We have also a question to Raphael, which is more around how did you really do this within your company and this energy monitoring system? And the gentleman is asking, how do you collect the energy consumption of each individual into a group before comparing? So, right, I think it's a bit technically explained. How set you up your energy monitoring system during the competition?
Yes, we have an energy monitoring system and we monitor the air conditioners, the lighting and the power socket consumption of each department of the company, of each group of our internal competition. All the data is gathered into our platform and we submit to our employees monthly reports with all the detail and their performance.
Thank you. So as I understood, in your office building or your factory and office building, you divided like in areas and each area was a group, yeah, where the people sit together?
Yes, exactly. Finance department, operation, stock.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, good, great. I also saw that you did some investments also, and this refers to a question from the audience about the CapEx. Has there been done any analysis to highlight the CapEx impacts to reach certain operational targets? Have you done also some analysis, like maybe payback periods and stuff like economic analysis of investment that you have done maybe during the competition? And can you please share with us?
Yes, so I don't have any analysis today to share it to you, but when we launched in 2017 this competition, we launched it internally because we wish to gain experience. We did some draft analysis. Of course, an EMS may be a costly investment, but we definitely see that it's a great investment and we already save a lot of energy.
Okay, great to hear. Yeah, thank you. And now, again, we would like to learn a bit more from the CUBE team in France. Explain us a bit more around this, how you transferred this competition, which has first taken place 9 years ago in France, to a more maybe developing country or like Cambodia, or more hotter country. What were the major challenges and what are the experience from the other countries? Does it work same? Are there some major differences? What is your experience and your lessons learned?
First, we have to team with a very good group, as you are all the partners in Cambodia, and the interest from other countries. We can say CUBE is European now, not really French based now. because UK is starting with UK partners. So we wish to have a strong country partner, and we did find that in Cambodia indeed. So this is the first condition, and because large international companies have run Cube in other countries, and they're asking us for a local coordination. They would like to have not only tips for energy savings in English, but in Polish and whatever the language is. But you know, people managing the buildings on the day-to-day basis are speaking their own language, and to interact with users, you have to be in the DNA of the country and running it from the country. So we've been running out in the UK, in Belgium, and we're starting in French Polynesia, which can be considered as another country because it's far away from here. It's in the middle of the Pacific. So we are trying to find a core group that can manage the contest, and we are giving the tools in order to have a really self-standing, good competition, and that's what we found in all the partners in Cambodia. We're very glad to have this interaction with you today.
Thank you. So I understand that also the all material will be translated and into the Khmer language, and that's, I think, a very good step also to bring the message towards the local building operators. And maybe a quick update, because we have heard from Mathilde, this competition has, registration has already started. Mathilde, can you tell us how many participants you have already registered and what kind of companies and organizations are there, and what is their motivation? Did you already get some insights, please?
Yes. So some 15 buildings are already registered with a diversity of profiles and activities. So we have DHL, Archetype, which is an architecture company. We have the Cambodia Airport, Coming Khmer. We have the Bread Bank, INK, which is a microfinance organization. We have Decathlon and Tigas. And something very interesting is that their motivation are also variable from one company to another. So some companies has already implemented energy efficiency measures, and they especially want to raise awareness among the occupants, as they didn't manage to do so before. And some other have strong CSR strategies and environmental goals at the level of the company worldwide. For example, reducing by 30% their CO2 emission. And obviously, one of the main motivation is saving money, because as you may know, the cost of electricity in Cambodia is very high.
Thank you so much. And another question comes from the audience. Actually, will there be some kind of financial incentive to support this energy efficiency, maybe from some other organizations or from the competition itself, Mathilde?
Sorry, can you repeat?
And there's a question from the audience. What will be are there some financial incentives or support available in Cambodia for energy efficiency at the moment?
Oh, at the moment, there is no per se financial incentive, and this is why we try to implement a bottom-up approach to prove that that energy efficiency is very cost effective, and that you can save a lot of money for the moment.
I understand. Yeah, there is electricity prices are pretty high compared also to neighboring countries, and I also know I've done it in my own home. Replacing some old or inefficient light bulbs makes already some sense, because I can save electricity costs. Yeah, and I think, but also good to hear this behavior change. What we talk about is mostly trying to achieve saving just through changing behavior, right? And Raphael, can you tell us where were there the major areas where you saw changes in behavior during this 1 year of competition that you have done in your company?
In terms of behavior change, it was quite challenging. During the competition, it was fine, but the competition ended already 1 year ago, and now we start to see some bad habits are coming back, and we really count, yes, on to CEE to help us to adopt the right behavior, but much more in the most sustainable way.
I understand. So I have heard also ATS decided that you will join the competition, the CEE Comp, right? Why?
It's for that reason. We already succeed and realized the important saving, but yes, in terms of behavior change and team spirit, we need more of that. So we really count on the CEE for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I see. So you want to motivate again your colleagues.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it would be good also to learn a bit from us. What is the fun side of the competition? Maybe John or Cedric, can you explain us a bit more, because you may highlight this fun doing together. What is there also the lessons learned and what we will see here in Cambodia during this 1 year competition?
So first, I will underpin that once you created a core group, as Raphael has in its company, a core group managing this energy efficiency thing, we've seen a lot of these core dynamic people wishing to solve other problems of the organization, like waste or water or whatever, going for other goals than energy efficiency. So the fun thing is that in the long-lasting effects, you've been coordinated the good-willing people, and these people can help you to implement new challenges for the organization or for greening the organization. That's very funny to see. And of course, in the fun thing, you will be creative. I guess I can't give you the examples of all the funny activities people have been managing into their buildings, because there are too many of that. It's sub-challenges. Of course, you are inviting people to very relaxed event to speak of energy efficiency and being positive about that. And you have to be creative on this side. I won't tell you what we've seen, because it's too many time we'll spend on storytelling what we've been seeing.
Treasure hunts. We've seen treasure hunts. All kinds of creative ways of that people try to push people to go and chase economies and stuff they can do around the company, and with the funny messages, things like that. They get really creative, and we also try to push the teams to be as creative as possible and try to do it as the most fun way possible.
I could imagine it's also a kind of team building activity, for those companies. And they have to create, as I understood, a kind of green team or for energy efficiency team, right?
Right. Not everybody is committed into the contest, but you will find your supporters, and your first group, your core group will help you a lot, saying what users can modify in their behaviors or in the day-to-day management of the offices or whatever facility, and they will tell you what to do with you, and so it's quite important they are acting as representatives of all the working people behind them.
Understand. There is a kind of science behind the Cube and the Cube platform. That is the kind of platform where you put all the data to compare the buildings, right? And but this platform was developed for France now. How it was now adapted to be usable for Cambodian buildings that are a bit different, maybe also different data that is available. Can you elaborate a bit more and explain us the science in a simple way? Because I understand not everyone here is an energy efficiency expert. Please, John, this question is to you.
So as for the science of Cube, we're getting, the candidates give us their data. So we're able from this data to create a function that projects basically how the building is how much the building should consume the coming year. This equation allows us to take into account the weather, for instance. And then throughout the competition, the candidates give us the actual data, and we're able to compare the projection with the actual data. And the difference is the cube effect. So the cube effect takes into consideration weather and variables such as occupation. And as occupation, I'd like to point out that obviously with COVID, there's a lot of change in companies, but we're still able to take into account the COVID effect by those functions. We're able to estimate how much the reduction of occupation, for instance, should impact, and then compare it to the actual impact, the actual data that we get from the companies. So, so even if you have today already impacts from COVID, it's still really a good idea to get into the competition, because you will still be able to see the actual progress you're making. And it's important to start making progress now, because thankfully the COVID is not going to be here forever. And if you're able to implement those dynamics now, then it will still be useful in the coming years when you will be using much more energy.
Yes. And Mathilde stressed out we are using the IPMVP protocol. The IPMVP protocol, to say it in one word, is universal because it's about decoupling the effects of climate in every consumption. You are decoupling the effect, and this protocol has been set internationally, and it's a protocol which is used for all the energy performance contracting, for example. So you can base a contract on that, and it has been prepared and developed internationally, and it's universal. For the decoupling we are doing, for example, for the climate in Northern Europe or in Cambodia, is the same decoupling, but we are taking into account, of course, cooling in Cambodia and more heating in northern countries. But this is the same. The math are equals because the protocol is universal.
I understand. And you mentioned the COVID situation now. That is also very relevant here in Cambodia at the moment, as many people are maybe not going to office, and they are having a home office. And but we are talking about behavior change, right? So and I remember Mathilde in her presentation talking that the behavior change will also lead to savings at home. What kind of behavior change we need to see to reduce energy use, and how long it might take to change? Are there any experience from the competition? I don't know, maybe Mathilde or Cedric, you want to answer?
Mathilde, I'm starting. Mathilde, you will complete my words. Managing a building, if you got 500 people in the building, may be a very long-lasting task. And of course, 1 year for building management is just enough to implement all the changes you may imagine for your building. So the smaller your building is, the easier it is to deploy and to implement. But of course, 1 year in big building management, it's just enough, I say, to trigger an action plan with your users, to have this effect like what Raphael implemented into ATS. Yes, it's kind of a 1 year project for your company, and you have to take this time to go deep into energy efficiency.
Yeah, and if I can add something very important is to understand the individual motivation of every employee, and then you can you can continue on the scale of behavior change by understanding the motivation, and then try to find the appropriate action to implement to understand what motivates people to act. Because obviously, when we talk about energy efficiency, people are not very aware of this, not very concerned about it. So we have to learn how to speak about energy efficiency to trigger the behavior change.
Understood. Yeah. Okay. Maybe again, Mathilde, you were just speaking. You are French national, right? But you have been living in Cambodia for quite some time. Are there maybe some cultural challenges while transferring such a competition from France to Cambodia? And which ones, and how you as an organizer or part of organizer team will address those challenges?
I wouldn't say cultural challenges. I might say like organizational challenges, as in France, for example, there are many energy manager or technical manager that are kind of specialized in energy efficiency. So it can be more complicated to find the good interlocutors in the companies and organizations to talk about energy efficiency. But we are very confident about the culture, because Cambodians like to play. So that's why we chose the format of a competition in Cambodia.
Thank you. I think I'm looking through the questions, and we have only few minutes left. So I would like to hear maybe again a bit more from Raphael, specifically what was the response from your staff? How did they like the competition? How did they get engaged and motivated?
They really like it, definitely. But first, because we share the same goals, reduce our energy consumption, and we succeed. And also they enjoy it because it improves the team spirit. And much more, it allows them also to adopt what they learned during the competition and apply the same gestures at home, and also reduce their own electricity bills. So yes, it's a huge source of motivation.
Okay, great. Great to hear. So great to hear that the staff could also learn something, then bring home and reduce their energy bills at home. We hope we can see this also during this competition, and we will, as EuroCham are also one dissemination partner with our Green Business Committee, which is the sectoral committee that supports all the initiatives and organizes events in relation to this. We will of course have further engagement and share results of this Cambodian Energy Efficiency Competition. Maybe some few last words at the end of our webinar from each speaker. I would like, maybe you can highlight a few words to the Cambodian audience. Probably there are a few representatives from companies that are not yet sure why they should join. Maybe you can give some tips and hints and motivate them. Please, Mathilde, as an organizer, I would like you to start.
Okay, thank you. Energy efficiency is very important to first save money on your electricity bill, and it's very important to implement some of these kind of activities before the law will be mandatory on that. So it's very important to show the government that we are trying to do a bottom-up approach. It's very important to raise awareness about your employees, and to implement some behavior that will last well beyond the competition.
Thank you. Raphael, over to you. You will join, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course, it's very important for us, but I think for all the world to pay more attention about our energy usage. It's very good that the CEE Comp could exist here in Cambodia for this first edition. Yeah, it's very important, and I'm sure together we will succeed, and I hope we will have even more participants that will join the competition soon.
Thank you. Over to you, Cedric. John, a few last words.
Yes, it's time to have fun with energy efficiency and to commit to action with this IPCC report. So it's time to go for action, but with something fun. And people have you have to propose your employees project to go positive, to go to this new future we are asking to come. So so it's a way to have your people back to business and to in a positive mood. And saying that they will enjoy this and make fun of all that.
Yes, Cedric said it. We live in challenging times, but they can also be opportunities, and it's a good way to address them in a very positive way and bring positive change. And through competitions and systems such as Cube, you can launch your organization on a pathway, and you'll find out things that you didn't even expect that could come from your organization, and find new potential and a lot of really interesting stuff, interesting things like that. So go for it.
Thank you, and I would like also to share. We are, of course, as a private sector organization, EuroCham is very much aware about also the efforts of the Cambodian government to move ahead to promote energy saving, especially the efforts that are currently underway from the Ministry of Mines and Energy and the Ministry of Economy and Finance, that they are preparing the National Energy Efficiency law, which will make certain measures also mandatory. So it's really good to get prepared, join this competition, and learn and see that we can be pioneers. Over to you, Ratanak.
Thank you so much, Susan, and the entire panelists, Raphael, Cedric, John, and Mathilde for your very insightful inputs to this webinar. I think we are just about time to finish off the webinars. I just want to mention to our audience once again, for our members of EuroChams, for companies who are not yet a member of EuroChams, as Susan had mentioned, we have our Green Business Committee, who where we will discuss different issues around the green business topic. So Susan is now the chairwoman. She's also leading many other initiatives. So feel free to visit our website and to learn more about topics for the future webinars. I would like to quickly mention that on Tuesday next week, we will have a second session of a tax summer series. The topic will be on tax audits, and the registration is still open. Should our audience in this webinar would like to still register to the webinars. Also, we have a sponsorship package available for companies who are interested. And of course, if you would like to know more about EuroCham memberships and our activities, please feel free to contact me directly after this webinar. Also worth mentioning that at the end of this month, on the 26th and 27th of August, we'll have a second financial analysis training course for the fundamental level. The seats are still available, so my colleagues Usa can be reachable every time if you would like to book your seat for the course. And thanks, of course, to our newest member who joined EuroChams. Without their support, EuroChams, we are very grateful for their support, and of course to our platinum group partners. So that is all from my side, and once again, thank you to all our panelists, our audience, and to the entire EuroCham team for organizing this webinar. Thank you, and the recorded session of this webinar will also be available soon in the coming days. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.